Hello and welcome to day 6. We are going to be creating your signature brand. So make sure you check out the link in the description to today's sponsor, Go High Level. We also have a 88 discount promotion on our Smart Content Kit through the end of the week, ends Thursday at midnight. More on that in a little bit. I also realized last stream I talked about going over some LinkedIn profiles for inspiration, and I forgot to do that. So what we'll be doing is we'll be going through how to actually create your brand stories. So we have a couple of examples, and then of course I'll go through a very simple workflow you can follow. And we do this and we create these stories for really 3 reasons. Number one, we just need to make sure we have a clear and succinct way of sharing our message with the world. Number two, we want to make sure that we are balancing relatability and authority, because it's easy to be super relatable and personable, and then have it actually hurt your authority and positioning in the market to actually sell. And so I'll just kind of casually scroll here so you can kind of see some examples from really successful entrepreneurs who've really crafted and refined their stories. And then I think I've lost count. And then of course, number 3 here is it's actually going to help you with making sure AI doesn't sound like a bunch of slop when it comes to creating your content. And so as we dive in here, just wanted to give a shout out and thank you to Go High Level for sponsoring this entire series. So Go High Level is a all-in-one platform for running your digital business. It allows you to, of course, create your main website, schedule your social media content, build your funnels, launch your digital products, courses, and membership sites, and of course handles all of the email marketing as well. So link in the pinned comment and top of the description to learn more. And of course, we have a bunch of awesome bonuses for you if you sign up, including a private community where we have live calls like this one, where we go a lot more in depth. And I actually get to pop into your Google Doc or your account and actually build along with you, as well as our Rev Alpha Canvas, which is like our one and done business plan and comes with a custom GPT to help you get started with your own digital product, courses, and community business as quickly as possible. So link in the description to that. So before we dive into some of the LinkedIn profiles that I wanted to share with you, we'll quickly go through kind of the concept of creating your brand story and some examples from, of course, successful entrepreneurs. So just as a quick and easy example, we've probably all heard of Rich Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book, Robert Kiyosaki, irrespective on how much true or untrue the stories might be there. You can see here that his story is essentially, I used Rich Dad money principles to overcome living paycheck to paycheck to finally achieve passive income wealth that unlocked lifelong financial freedom and a platform to teach millions. And so you can and if you've read any of his books, that's kind of a very basic, oversimplified summary of his story, right? But when you are trying to figure out how to communicate your story, yes, you have a story. Yes, you have enough experience. Unless you're a 19-year-old life coach, in which case I can't help you. You're only 19. But if you've had at least a couple years of life under your belt, you're good to go, right? Irrespective of what your niche or industry is. I just had to throw that in there. It's always funny seeing those like, oh, I'll teach you how to have a successful life. You're like, dude, I remember when I was 21. I don't think I should be giving a 50-year-old advice on that. But, if it's like AI and you are maybe you're really good with a particular piece of software and you're teaching AI to someone who is 50. I know I'm being super generic here, but then that kind of situation would make sense, right? It wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, you needed to be around a while for that type of experience to matter. You can, of course, learn AI or coding or even marketing in just a couple of months and be valuable to other people. Versus like life coaching, like, you probably need some real world experience for that to actually matter. But most niches, you can get your good experience within 6 to 9 months. Also because most people just haven't tried, right? So of course, another popular one, Gary Vee, used relentless daily content and social media storytelling to overcome the obscurity of his father's small wine business to finally achieve 60 million in sales. And then, that allowed him to snowball into creating a agency. Then we have Alex Harmozy. This is the last one I'll go through click by click here. And so we have his is I used zero down gym turnarounds to overcome membership churn, scale his gym launch to 8 figures in 24 months, unlocking financial freedom, and the playbook that rescued thousands of other struggling gym owners. And so if you look at each one of these stories, I realize I'm blocking, so let me make myself smaller, something I can do with OBS. There we go. Make myself nice and small. You see the yellow is what I like to call the mechanism. So what's the actual strategy, tactic, technique that they used to overcome the struggle or roadblock that they faced? And so that's what's in blue. Overcome obscurity of our small wine shop, overcome membership churn. Because every good journey has a villain or some sort of struggle to overcome. So the blue is what they had to overcome. The red is the end result that they got. And it is important that you have an end result. If you don't have an end result yet, don't tell the story. People say that they want transparency. They say they want to hear from people struggling or in the same situation. But the reality is they don't buy from people who haven't achieved something yet. So you can create a lot of camaraderie if you're still struggling with the same thing your ideal customers are. But you're not going to make a lot of sales unless you can showcase that you've at least overcome some of them. And so that's what's in red. And then, of course, what's in orange, which is on the screen now, is not very different than the red. You can see personal brand powering Bader Media, rescued thousands of struggling gym owners. That's kind of where you go from the practical, I did this to overcome that, achieve this result, to what's the bigger life change that happened as a result of overcoming those roadblocks and achieving those results. And of course, we have some other examples here too. So I'll just go ahead and zoom out. So maybe we can come back to them, but excuse me. Every single, kind of famous entrepreneur or even, YouTuber has some sort of version of this. And you'll notice that even if you've never actually watched a video of them explaining their story, even if you've seen some of their content, they just kind of sprinkle in their story, their journey as they're teaching or as they're posting their content. And that's something that you're going to want to be able to do as well. So how do we go ahead and create this sentence? I used, strategy, technique, method to overcome roadblock, to finally achieve result that people care about, and unlocked life change, right? So that's the basic sentence you kind of want to end with here. And so to back up, we're going to start with actually figuring out what were our results and what were our roadblocks along our journey. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. There we go. If you're tuning in live, because I can't see anything now, go ahead and let me know. It looks like YouTube might have just, suppressed the video because it took so long to get the live stream up. But at least tomorrow we'll be good to go. So we'll go ahead and I think here is safe. There we go. It's not like I need to be giant. This is more important than seeing my receding hairline. So when it comes to figuring out how to create your signature brand, your journey, the first thing you want to do is just list out the results that you achieved and then the struggles you faced along the way. Now, be brutally honest here. No one's ever going to see this. Don't worry about it unless you're weird like me and you do post it to YouTube. But I'll actually show you how I came up with this list relatively quickly. And then once you think about what have I achieved, big and small, big and small. Even if let's say for some reason you want to be a personal trainer and you just started losing weight and you've only lost like 10 pounds, right? Put that down. I've lost 10 pounds. That's more than a lot of people, right? Or if you're like most Americans like me, you're like, oh, well, I lost 30 pounds, but then I gained back 40, and then I lost the 40, but then I gained back 10. Obviously I'm making the numbers up a little bit there, but Okay, I'm reducing some of the game back numbers just between you and me. Don't tell anyone. But the point is, even if you had some rebounds, even if you had some relapses, you still achieve that result. I can still say, yeah, I got really big because all I did was sit around and make YouTube videos all day, and I lost around 50 or 60 pounds. Right? I don't have to say like, okay, and then 9 months later I gained back 20. Um, the point is, you focus on every single result you've achieved, even if you have a but I at the end of it, right? So I could say like I lost X number of pounds, but I gained it back. I got 145,000 subscribers, but YouTube now suppresses my channel, or I transitioned from service-based work to automated income, but it doesn't make as much money, right? We always have a but. We always have that did not come across right. We always have some sort of qualification to discount our experience and our success. And so even if you have some sort of asterisk there, like, yeah, but I feel like I got lucky with that client, right? Or I know we got that 7 figures, but it was kind of a fluke, right? So don't worry about that. If you really feel like you cannot share that experience with other people because you think it had to do with luck or circumstance, or you don't really deserve it because you lost it, just go ahead and put it down here anyway. Just trying to build up your confidence, right? Let's put everything down, big and small. And then, of course, for the roadblocks, just things that you've experienced along the way. You can see here for me, spent years chasing the made it moment, never made it, right? Still feel like I'm going. And if I scroll down here, had a lot of failed partnerships. My gosh, I think I'm a good 3 years behind based upon all of the time and effort I've spent on failed joint ventures. And then this is actually something I'm struggling with now. If you probably see my channel, like, why does this guy only get a couple hundred views? Because I got slapped with invalid traffic, and everything has just done this since then. I'm actually pretty close to having to completely start a new channel, which is very nerve wracking. And then, of course, down here, life changes. So, of course, as an entrepreneur, someone losing weight, someone being a life coach, you're thinking kind of in this box of helping people lose weight, helping people build a business, or being a marketing agency, or being a coach to women over 40, vegan coach to women over 40. I think that was one of the examples from the other day. And so that's what the results or roadblocks in. And then inside of that kind of little niche, you want to think about, okay, what is the big life change that happened as a result of overcoming those roadblocks and achieving those results? So something very simple for me: location independence. Was able to still able to be a digital nomad. I had more time freedom over when I work. I never pretend like business is not a work. If you want something where you're just going to like retire with passive income, business is not the thing to do. You should just go get a more high paying job and buy a bunch of dividend indexes and ETFs and call it good, right? Like, it's pretty much the only real passive income stream you're going to be able to enjoy. And then life change, community impact. That's something like this right now, where I really want to do more live live streams and calls, because this is a lot more fun than just talking into the void. Although YouTube is definitely not showing this video, and may have lost most viewers because it took 45 minutes to get this started. And if you're watching the replay, I cut out all that stuff. So anyway, you might be looking at this going, like, I don't know where to get all this. So what I did last night actually is I went over to GPT, and this is the email. Don't look at that. Ignore that, and ignore me trying to troubleshoot YouTube not working. Let's see here. Okay, we'll see. So what I did is, if you've been using AI for a while, here's what I did. I just went over to AI and I said, please search through my chat history and see what you can pull from what I've shared with you to help with my 1/1.3. I'll get to the codes in a moment. Don't worry about that. Doing a live demo tomorrow, and just want to showcase some of my results and roadblocks. And so, of course, if you're not using our GPT, putting 1/1.3 isn't going to make any sense at all. So what you can do is you can essentially say, go through my chat history and pull from what I've shared with you results I've achieved and then struggles I've faced, pull all of them. And so just by doing that, AI was able to go through. It's just like Google. It's starting to know everything about you. It's going to create this psych profile and then sell it to advertisers for billions of dollars. Just kidding. GPT is going to find a way to make money with it itself. But you can see here that it went through all of my chat history and pulled out things that it thought would represent results that I've achieved. And so, for example, like successfully moved tech stacks from MailerLite to CEO to go high level. I totally forgot that I did that, right? And so sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, what did I work on, or what have I actually built or created? This is a massive undertaking. It is still taking me forever, even with all the support high level's given me to move over. Just migration's never fun. Never fun. Definitely going to be very happy when it's done, though. And so you can see here, it just created a list of some of the results. I'm going to have to quickly, I just realized that it's going to show something that it has some personal information under roadblocks. So we're just going to do this. And then for, life change, it just kind of came up with, all right, well, what things has it noticed that's changed in my life as I worked with it. Now, of course, I've had this account for over 2 years now. And given GPT's memory, it doesn't go back all 2 years. So you might, of course, need to brainstorm from scratch. But I just want to show you that whatever AI model that you're using, as long as it's has a real memory, you can just ask it, hey, what results have I achieved? What roadblocks or struggles have I overcome? And so I'll jump back over to our sheet here. And then once you have this, this is going to be invaluable when it comes to creating content with AI. So anytime you want AI to write a post, an email, go ahead and share, here's my list of results, here's my list of roadblocks, here's my life change. Use this, integrate this into your writing. We're talking to AI. Integrate this into your writing so it sounds like me and it's personable, as opposed to just AI slop, right? And I actually straight up tell GPT when it gives me AI slop. Like I'm not mean, because we don't know when Rise of the Machines comes, right? And Terminator happens. But for now, I am very clear when I'm like, yeah, dude, this is AI slop. I don't like this. Or I'll say, write it like how I would write it, or write it like how a human would write it. And every once in a while, it's so polished, I go, no one's going to believe I wrote that. You did too good of a job. But that's pretty rare at this moment, as much as the GPT-5 marketing is telling us it's going to be awesome. So once you've come up with these results, roadblocks, life change, then what you want to do is start thinking about, if you're trying to come up with products, you want to start thinking about something called mechanics. Since we're just focused on content, I'm going to skip over that for now and jump down to proof. And so all you want to do here is look at your list of results and then just think, how do I prove it, right? So if I come to my list of results here and I say 145,000 YouTube, subscribers, screenshot, done. That's how I prove it, right? So if I'm making a sales video, or if I am, creating a post, and I'm mentioning that, if it makes sense, I can include a screenshot of 145K. So that's as simple as it needs to be. You'll see some YouTubers sometimes, like for example, when I realized I was going to say something kind of mean. So for example, when I would make Google Ads tutorials, I would show a screenshot saying, hey, look, we've managed over 200 million in ad spend. Now, of course, it does come across braggish, like, oh, look at me, we managed 2 million, right? Like, it's not my money, it was client's money, right? But it does just quickly show, like, hey, we know what we're talking about, so here's how we go, right? I don't spend 10 minutes, or I don't spend 30 seconds of the video talking about, and this client made 7K, and this client made 10K, and I'm just so awesome and great with Google Ads, worship me. Like, it's just a casual mention, like, hey, I've grown a channel to 145,000 subscribers, here's 5 things I've learned. That's it, right? And you just you're just showing receipts. You're showing the proof, and then you're moving on with what people actually care about, right? Or if I can say launched 5 multiple digital offers, I would go over to Thrivecart. Yeah, I would go over to Thrivecart because that's where the sales were at the time, and I would just take a screenshot of the sales figures from those 5, or I would create a report that just shows those those 5 and be like, hey, here's 100K from digital products, right? And then move on. I think that's one of the things that's really hard, is to just casually mention the big result and then move on with the actual value. Spending 3 or 4 sentences in a social post talking about all the money you've made, or spending 30 seconds in a video, is completely unnecessary. As long as you can show receipts, you just show the receipt and you move on. And if anything, it actually helps with your authority and credibility, because you don't come across like, oh, please believe me, please believe I'm making 6 figures, and this Shopify dropshipping thing is totally going to work, right? And you're like, all right, well, what's your store, like, where are your screenshots, your receipts? Oh, I've seen those screenshots on someone else's channel too. Whoops. So we do want to make sure that we have real evidence to back up whatever our claims are. And so that's all you want to do for proof. It just makes it a lot easier to create content and make your sales materials when you have your screenshots, your videos, or your receipts. These are not testimonials, by the way. I realize there's some niches or industries where it would be really hard to have a picture. A picture's worth 1,000 words, but sometimes it is hard to come up with that. So you can just work with AI and say, hey, here's my result. I need a quick, what kind of image can I create or find that would quickly demonstrate that I've helped a lot of people, right? Or I've achieved that specific result. And so when it comes to crafting your signature brand story, all you need to do is take your results, take your roadblocks and your life changes, and then you can create a very simple story here. Now, of course, we have the one sentence. So what you can do if you don't want to, by the way, everything we're going through here is available to you when you try high level for 30 days. You get access to this entire, if I scroll all the way up to the top, this entire Rev Alpha Canvas and 30-day roadmap. I'm going through a demo right now, but we also have a complete done-for-you sales letter template in here as well. So you're well on your way to launching your digital offers. And so even if you don't want to grab that, what you can do, and one of the reasons I've put myself so small, is you can actually go ahead and just screenshot this and upload it to whatever AI you're using and ask it to create your signature story. AI can read everything that's on the screen right now. So I've actually tried putting prompts. We actually posted a video earlier today, and I had to make a bunch of comments because I can't fit the prompts in the YouTube description. So if you're wondering why does it keep saying screenshots? It's because I can't fit all the text into the descriptions. So just go ahead and take a screenshot of this, say, hey, AI, create my signature story for me. And that's also why we have so much text on the screen as well. Just lets AI do all the heavy lifting. And then it can go ahead and create a very simple and succinct story for you. And so if I jump over to my chat here, it actually offered, do you want me to create one for the live stream? And I was like, yes, please make me look good on the live stream, because apparently I'm going to spend 45 minutes trying to get OBS Player to work. So here's the simple story it created for me. Now, obviously, there's some tweaks. For some reason, it thought I was only in South Korea for 3 months, but apparently it thought I lived there for some reason. So there are some things where you're like, I didn't live there, I just visited. But I did get the Philippines right. That's where I currently am. I don't remember telling it that, but it knows somehow. So you can see here that this is not something that you directly post to LinkedIn, right? This is not something you directly send out to your email list. But what you do is you use this story as your starting point, as your backdrop for creating content. And so when you have this story ready to go, and even if you don't, especially if you're using, Claude, Grok, or GPT directly, once you've gone through and created this, when you're creating content in the future in other chat threads, you can literally say, hey, use my hero story to create this content. You don't even have to copy and paste it anymore. AI will go find this chat where you've listed all this out, and you've literally just created a database and trained AI what your story is, and it will constantly, because it's smart enough to now. That wasn't true just a year ago. This would not have worked, but now it's smart enough to have go and reference this thread in your account and just start writing posts that are more in line with your story because you've trained it, you've worked with it. So I would actually go ahead and if I open up the sidebar here, I would actually name this chat so I know what it is. So 1/1 point. Now, obviously, you don't have to use our coding system. I use our coding system because our GPTs have a lot of prompts in them. So it's easier for me to just say 1/1.3 as opposed to create my signature story framework. JSON. So there we go. And then I'd go ahead and drop it into wherever I'm working. But let's see if you happen to have found the stream live, please go ahead and let me know in the comments and drop in whatever your niche or industry is, and I'd be more than happy to come up with some examples. We're not going to reveal all your personal information, right? But if you just drop in your niche or industry, I can definitely go ahead and show you how to quickly create a brand story using your niche or industry as an example. And so let's have some fun with this, right? Since that's kind of the core. I do want to get to the LinkedIn, and then if I totally forgot to mention because I was off topic, for the next 2 days, our AI powered content creation system that has what you just saw and more is in the description. Of course, if you do decide to check this out or you're watching the replay, this really is only for the next 3 days. And so this is our AI powered system that helps you craft your brand story and then has a ton of actual frameworks in there as well. So link in the pinned comment to learn more. So just go ahead and check that out. That'll be on sale for the next couple of days here. So I just wanted to point that out as we hop over to LinkedIn. And I do realize that I did not actually paste that link in here. So give me one. I'll just do it I'll have to do it after the stream. Here we go. I'll have to do it after the stream because everything's closed now. So when it comes to creating your story, here we go. Oh, Think First Media. Not sure what my niche is, but my industry is travel. Okay, cool. So if you could give me a little more insight on travel, like if you create travel content or you're teaching people, how to budget travel, or if you filled in the sentence, I teach people how to, and then something in terms of travel, I can help create a signature story. Me Too Elevate, awesome. Thank you for joining, and thank you for commenting because I cannot see how many people are on. It's a little nerve-wracking. I had no idea if I was talking to myself for the last couple of minutes. So once you have this signature story, of course, you will easily be able to have AI. You will easily be able to teach AI your specific story and have that integrated with your content. What you can do is you can take your story. So I'm gonna take my story here, and for time purposes, I'm going to use one of our GPTs. You can check out the previous here. I'll just show you so you can screenshot it. So if you want some examples of prompts, so I'll show this for a little bit. All you need to do, just screenshot this and ask AI to write you 3 LinkedIn concepts based upon these post types. That's it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, screenshot, done. There you go. All right. Now I will shamelessly use our GPT because obviously I want you to test out high level and try out our smart content kit linked up in the description. But here we go. So I'm going to say craft 3 LinkedIn post concepts using my story as the backbone, right? And so Obviously, my AI knows a lot more than this, but I'll go ahead and drop that in. And it's going to use, again, I showed you where to take the screenshot. So please don't hate on me in the comments like, oh, this only works because you're using your GPT. I gave you what I could for free on a YouTube live stream. So here we go. The finish line myth, mindset shift. Here we go, from algorithm slave to system owner. And then freedom in the process, inspirational and aspirational. So I see the comments. Angelica, hi, me too, times elevate. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Go ahead and drop your your niches, or the simple sentence, I teach people how to. That's another way to easily do it. And then we can brainstorm some results and roadblocks together to help kickstart your own signature brand story. So travel agents, how to sell. Okay, cool. Okay, Think First Media. I will get to that after this example. So you can see here, we've AI has quickly been able to come up with some post ideas based upon our story. And then it's, of course, elaborated. It's trained, of course, to elaborate as well. So it uses my personal story, my personal experiences, and tries to create a lesson out of it. And that's the key here. That's the real key here. Whether it's a result, a roadblock, a life change, there needs to be a tangible lesson in the post, in the piece of content. So for example, like if we're looking at this one here, I thought 100,000 subscribers would be the finish line. It wasn't. This is actually really hitting home right now. A few years ago, I was chasing milestones, 100K subs, first 10K month, big client wins. I thought hitting them would flip life into easy mode. But when I got there, still had all these things. If anything, they're worse because I have no job to fall back on if things completely fail. Instead, I built systems and frameworks, and I run my business where I can, for world of freedom, right? So I know I trailed off there. Gotta switch mouses. But when you get a post like this, I really want to call this out because this is going to be really helpful for creating content. And just again, thank you so much for commenting. I really thought I was speaking into a void there. But I will get to your specific examples in a moment. So this post is not done. You've probably seen posts like this on social media. I feel so old saying that, on social media, but when you create content, so we're halfway there because we have something that's based upon our actual story. So that's number one. You got to make content based upon your actual story, your actual experiences, not what just sounds good. But now that we have a story, it's okay to lean on AI to actually get a lesson out of it. So when you read this, if someone else is, like, let's say, trying to grow a business, trying to grow a channel, thinking about making content, this helps nothing. This is useless. This is me just saying, hey, here's my experience. Oh, woe is me. I got all of this success and then I'm still not happy. Like, this is just whining, complain, LinkedIn cringe. This is why people hate LinkedIn. And so what we need to do is, now that we have our story, we need to make sure that we have some sort of actionable value or lesson for the reader to go away with. What can they actually do as a result of reading the post? So there are two things. Number one, it could be an actual, like, strategy, method, tactic, action. Number two, it could be a mindset shift. Almost said a bad word there. Mindset shift. And when we talk about mindset shifts, this is also where a lot of LinkedIn cringe comes in. But essentially what we want to do is make sure that we help our readers have a paradigm shift where they can approach things differently, so they have an expectation that is not going, that's actually going to be met. So for example, a lot of people reading this will have the expectation that I did. You know, you get 100,000 subs, you hit your 10K month, and then, like, life is on easy mode, business keeps growing, you're never going to have your site hacked, or you're never going to have algorithms crush your channel, you know, so on and so on. And so what we want to do here is I will highlight what I like. So we'll highlight this, right? And then with GPT, we're going to say, And we can actually just ask it, please expand. Actually, I'm gonna type and not talk. Expand. Okay. Yes, my spelling really is that bad. So we're telling it to please expand. So we have a real lesson, not me just complaining, because that's how this post would come across. And so we want an action they can implement for themselves. And then I just came up with the mindset shift of process over results. And so here we go. The intro is, you'll see the intro is the same. That's kind of like our hook and what's unique to us. And then how we get there. Still had burnout. Didn't have a business that could run without me. Gut wrenching decisions like rebuilding my YouTube channel strategy from scratch twice. Maybe 3 times actually, but we'll go ahead and leave it at twice. And then instead of chasing the next big win, I started asking, what would make this business work even if I stepped away for a month? And then I actually go into some things that I actually did. And of course, action you can take away this week. I'm not sure I would be that direct with the content, but that's okay. I apologize. My mouse is, there we go. Get the trackpad there. Identify one thing you do repeatedly in your business, blah, 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 blah. And then document the steps, turn it into a repeatable checklist or template. That's your first system. And then mindset shift, stop seeing milestones as rewards, see them as checkpoints, and design your business so every checkpoint makes the journey easier, not heavier. I would probably need to expand on this with having like, what does heavier mean exactly? But I think I'm getting a little too in the weeds. But hopefully, and by the way, you let me know in the comments if you're like, the posts look the same. I don't know what the difference is. But you can see here that our first post pretty much stopped here. And it was just me sharing my story and complaining and like something that I learned versus a story of me, something that I learned, and then how my behavior changed as a result of it and what they can do so they don't experience the same disappointment. So that's how we take, that's the importance of having our story actually written out, ready to go, because then AI can start creating content around that story and it winds up making a pretty big difference long term. And again, if we go over, let's do a different example. Like if we go over to Justin Welsh, who is, I would say, one of the best people to learn about LinkedIn content, LinkedIn growth from. You can see here, like his example, I used lean. Oh my gosh. I use lean LinkedIn content systems to overcome executive burnout and zero personal brand, grow a $5 million one-person business, unlocking total control of my schedule while teaching solopreneurs to do the same. And if you go over to his account, you can actually kind of see that. In all of his posts. Now, of course, this is me analyzing from the outside. I haven't personally met him, but I'll link in the description to his LinkedIn course if you want to learn more. And then this other guy, Richard Vanderblum, also has a lot of great content on how to create LinkedIn content. So when you're asking AI to write for you, you can just drop in these guys' names. And now that you have a story, you can have AI start to create content using their vast knowledge and their styles of writing with your actual stories. And so I realized I forgot to do this last time, so that's why I'm doing this before I'm getting into the examples from the live chat. And then some other LinkedIn accounts that I think would be helpful to learn from: Neil Patel, Matt Barker, and then Matt Gray, in terms of just reading through their content. And then I think that's everybody. There's a ton of content on LinkedIn. but I'll leave Justin Welch's course below. This is a terrible video because I have 3 calls to action: try high level, get our get our discounted content system, and then Justin Welch's course. But just want to give you all of the different options. So let's go ahead and scroll back up here. Hope if you have any questions about the hero journey or creating, please let me know. Let me know in the chat. Just let me know in the chat if anything didn't make sense. So because now we're actually going to go through some examples. So we have Think First Media. Not sure what, Think First Media, you did tell me. Teaches travel agents how to sell travel. And then we have Me Too Times, Me Too, I'm just going to say Me Too. Me Too Times, does tutorials, one-on-one creator training, and share lives to help others grow. Started April 28th. I think that's a promotion as opposed to telling me what your niche is. So if you could expand on that, do tutorials, one-on-one training, and share lives to help others grow. Maybe what part of life you're sharing, or the types of stories that you're sharing. Maybe that will be more helpful. But awesome that you started this year. So I hope that this content can I hope that this content can be helpful in that. But yeah, I think I'm missing the actual niche. So maybe just what the stories are, and then I'd be able to be more helpful. But here we go. So I teach travel agents how to sell travel. Come on. All right. So I'm going to hop over to GPT here, and I'm going to use our oh, right. I got to click on something else. There we go. Cleared it out. Me Too Times. That's my niche. Learning with others. Okay, so then the question would be learning what? Learning what? I'm not being mean. We just gotta be a little more specific. So Think First Media. I hope you're still with us. I do apologize. It took a little longer on the example than I thought it would. So for let's see. So we're going to start off by clicking Clarify My Unique Brand. And of course, the GPT is going to ask us some questions, but Canva setups and different I'm learning. Okay, we'll use Canva setups, Me Too Elevate. So that is helpful. So here, when, of course, you clarify, you want to, and content creating. I'm still here. Oh, awesome. Think First Media. So here we go. I think you mentioned that you might be a little busy with something else, so I'll wait when I ask questions. So here we go. Let's say we're starting from complete scratch. Think First Media's niche is teaching travel agents how to sell. And so the first thing we want to do is think about our journey and the results that we were able to achieve. Now, presumably you want a part-time or full-time income as a travel agent, right? And so that would probably be the big overarching result. The other results, of course, would be actually getting clients. And so what we'll do here is our GPT is going to say, the first thing we want to do is, of course, this is the template that we want to get to. So if we come down, we're going to just start by saying my niche is teach travel agents how to sell. I'm just going to use codes 1.3.1 and run. So, okay, there we go. So it's going to, oops, I forgot to say 2. Hopefully GPT figures it out. No, you did not do it. GPT, you're making me look dumb. You're making me look dumb. Here we go. Come back over here. Sorry. Run. There we go. Apologies for that. Okay. GPT, you are not doing what I asked you. Okay. My gosh. So we'll have to, I'm going to have to fix this. No list of results and roadblock ideas. There we go. Okay, thank you, GPT. This is what it was supposed to do the first time. So the first thing we want to do so we're teaching other travel agents how to, be a travel agent and presumably make a part-time or full-time income. So the first thing we want to do is we look at our personal story, and we would, okay, Me Too Times, gotcha, you're next. So we would look at these potential results and say, what are things that I was able to achieve in my own journey? So the first thing would be like, how long did it take you to launch? So that would be a thing. Obviously, GPT is trying to be salesy here, not what we're going for. And then, of course, then you could say, how long did it take you to book your first client? Or how long, or what has been your biggest client, or how many reoccurring clients do you have? So think first media. These are just questions to ask yourself in your own journey, and just make a nice laundry list, right? And so then sorry guys, I'm getting really frustrated because this is not the, I'm gonna have to tweak the GPT for you guys, and I'm gonna throw this back at it later today and be like, dude, you did not do what you're supposed to. So, but this is why we get feedback from clients, right? So that everything around, think first. So think about everything around your, like, let's say your first 5 clients. How long did it take you to get them? What was your commission on them? And then maybe how long did it take you to get your reoccurring clients? I'm going out on a limb here and saying reoccurring clients is probably a really good thing to have. It's always easier to get business from clients you already have. And so what are the kinds of numbers you've done with them? And then in terms of earns commissions without needing years of experience. So this would actually be a roadblock. List out the struggles you faced having those sales calls or having those sales conversations. So everything you struggled with, you don't have to share all of it, remember, but everything you struggled with, figuring out how to actually sell on the phone or sell via, DMs, however you wound up doing it. Create a steady stream of, okay, that's a result. A result, of course, is how much you've made, or your biggest month, or your biggest client again, or your average monthly income, right? And then specialize in profitable niche. No. Build professional online presence. Gain industry credibility with certifications and partnerships. No. Okay, hold on, guys. GPT is not playing ball with me. I'm giving you the exact code, and you're not playing with me. All right. Hopefully this is a little better. I apologize for all the dead space. That's just me like grinding my gears in my head like, I've spent so much time training you, dude. Come on. All right, here we go. So, if you've ever managed talk about the biggest group of people that you've managed, because obviously if you're booking a vacation for like let's say 2 or 3 people. It's different than, booking travel for maybe an entire department someplace. And then you can also talk about if you any strategic partnerships you've created over time. And then, of course, I think honestly, the biggest results for you would be how you've gotten clients. Because when it comes to any sort of like helping people be successful with business, of course, the number one result people care about is how much money do you make. You don't necessarily, you'll actually know from me, I think this actual sales page, I think is actually the first time I revealed how much I made my first 5 years. I think I have a screenshot in the beginning where, I actually show this, but this screenshot wasn't shown until this year. I'm like 7 years into my business and I did not use this until then. And the other thing too is I only talk about the first couple of years of my business because that's what's relevant to my ideal customer. If I say, oh, well, this is how much I made like year 6, you go, okay, cool, but like I'm just starting, right? So you also want to make sure that you think about like your stage 1 results. So like this is how much I did my first year. This is how much I did my first 6 months, right? So you can still have those results of how much I make overall now. That helps with authority and credibility. Of course, as long as the number's higher than when you started. And then you can use those numbers in your story because it helps the results that they're looking for be more attainable. If you're talking about your first 6 months, your first 12 months versus, month 48 or whatever, or year 5 or 6, that's so far off from where your ideal customers are. It might help build your authority, but it certainly won't build the relatability. So just something to keep in mind. Earn fee or discounted FAM tips through sales performance. Anyway, Think First Media, you can take a screenshot of this. So this is kind of what GPT is suggesting in terms of kickstarting that process of what are some things that you've achieved. We spent a lot of time. If you have any specific questions, you're like, dude, this is not helping, just let me know. Think First, because we'll jump over to me 2 times. So if you're still here, we're going to do that. And then for roadblocks, obviously everybody starts with no experience, by the way. Like that's always a roadblock. I didn't know what I was doing. So you can totally write that down. That's a completely legitimate roadblock, right? And so you can talk about feeling intimidated by, booking systems, all the different types of, I'm sure there's different agencies and packages you can work with, right? So just feeling overwhelmed with all the technical aspects of it. And of course, not having a professional network getting started. I'm on number 4 now, struggling understanding commissions, contracts, pricing structures. Think of some times you got screwed financially. Those are really great roadblocks to talk about. Like a company not paying you, a client not paying you, or maybe the client and company both paid you, but then your client had a terrible time because one of the tours you booked was awful, right? Not blaming you for the bad tour, right? But just think about those kind of nightmare scenarios, right? Anything where you're out with your family, you're out with your friends, and then you get that text message and you're like, oh crap baskets, right? So I hated. I can still think of like when I ran an agency, I was in Staples with my wife. I have no idea what we were buying, but I just remember seeing the email from my boss and being like, why? Yeah, all of that happens. Yes, Think First Media. And he was asking about a budget. It was a Monday afternoon, and he was asking about a budget. He's like, why did we spend X amount on this client? And I still remember my heart sank. I was like, holy crap, did Google really just do that? Like that's a month's worth of budget. So needless to say, I've made some really bad mistakes with Google Ads. So those kinds of moments where you're just like, oh shoot. And if I was trying to sell agency services, I would use that as a story, walking through Staples. I get that email, and then I would tie it into, and that's why I always use, Go High Level's campaign manager to manually set budget limits so Google never blows my client account again or something like that, right? Budget. Gosh dang it. So let's move on. Number 6, overcoming rejection from potential clients early on. So definitely something everyone in a sales position deals with is rejection, constant rejection. Um, Learn to market without a big budget, of balance building a business while working another job. Yeah, those are all roadblocks of starting part time. Navigated misinformation about licensing and industry rules. Yeah, even yeah, especially if you have any licensing or licensing things. Think about any headaches you dealt with the licensing, and then think about hidden rules that most new travel agents wouldn't know. So again, as an example, when I was a registered financial advisor, when I was studying through the test, there was like 12 sections or whatever. I get to section 11 and it tells me that I'm not allowed to post social media ads when I get registered. And I was like, what the frick? How are you? How are you supposed to grow your business if you're not allowed to run ads, right? And I really wish someone had told me that before I'd spent months studying for that. I went ahead and continued anyway. I figured, like, oh, I'll figure it out. Spoiler alert, I didn't. That's why we're talking. But there are tons of things that yeah, inside of going through licensing. It's so boring, right? So boring. Anytime it's tax or legal. But those are going to be the golden nuggets where people go, oh, really? I did not know that. And then number 10, push through periods of low sales to find a consistent strategy. That's just general mindset stuff. I don't think there's a whole lot there. But those are some examples of roadblocks and results that you can start digging into. Think First Media for teaching travel agents in terms of figuring out what your own story looks like. And then, of course, life changes. So if I'm just going to jump back over here because we'll get to Me Too times. And then just think of life changes in terms of how did this make life with your family, your friends, your finances better overall, right? So when it comes to life change on the bottom here, those are just the bigger things. Like how did it impact the things that are obviously, I think what's most important, after my Christian faith is, family and spending time with them, right? So for me, the time freedom that comes from this type of business and flexibility to fly over to Panama, live there for 2 years, and help my aging parents, like that's a big deal for me. And so that would be something that I've included in my story in the past. But that's not really going to relate to the 25-year-old kid who just wants to make, 6 figures. And it's like, I just moved out of my parents' house. Why would I want to move back in, right? It's this odd dichotomy now that I'm 35. My parents are like, hey, when are you coming back? I'm like, oh, I thought you wanted to be gone, right? That's a whole nother, that's a social can of worms. We'll leave that alone. So Think First Media, awesome. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Just let me know if you have any follow-up questions, and then Me Too times Elevate. We'll go ahead and jump into your example. I'm gonna try and wrap up in the next 10 minutes here, because speaking of family, they're gonna wonder why I was here for for 2.5 hours, and I'm gonna have to tell them the first hour I was just trying to get this stream to work. So let's see, Me Too times Elevate. Apps and ways of making money online. I struggled along and don't want others to struggle. You're sharing Canvas setups and apps and ways of making money online. Okay, so the first thing I would say, obviously I want you to go back and watch all the other streams. I know there's a lot of rambling on them, but when it comes to making money online, you probably want to be a little more specific on what revenue stream or model you want to focus on. So as an example, like for my personal focus is on helping content creators and solopreneurs generate automated income with digital products. Like that's kind of like my real focus. And of course, content creators and solopreneurs, they can offer services, they can start agencies, they can sell merch, they can sell affiliates, they can do affiliate marketing. And I'm missing one: coaching, merch, software. There's a big one that I'm totally spacing on. Sponsorships, obviously, but you probably want to be at least with your story, and then wherever you start with your products and services. Again, I think day 3 we went through product ideas. You probably want to be a little more specific than just make money online. Otherwise, you're going to attract a really broad audience of people who aren't ready to buy because they are just figuring out the path they want to take, and you need to choose which path you're going to be known for. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump over to GPT again. So we've got, actually, hold on, share. Let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. So I'm going to create link, copy link, and let me see if YouTube, oh my gosh. This is embarrassing. It looks like OBS Player doesn't actually allow me to access the chat directly. So if I go to, give me one moment here, and I'm going to paste this in. Okay, I am muted. One moment here. Let's see if this works. Paste this in. Okay, I am muted. One moment here. Let's see if this works. Paste this in. Awesome. Okay, I am muted. So, okay, I should be doing this because this is like cannibalizing my. Okay, I should be doing this because this is like cannibalizing media. Okay, I should be doing this. So this is like cannibalizing media. Okay, I should be doing this. So this is like cannibalizing media. Okay, I should be doing this. So this is like cannibalizing media. Okay, I should be doing this. So this is like cannibalizing media. Okay, I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So it's like cannibalizing media. I should be doing this. Yes. So okay. What? It says we're still going. Okay. Sound is messed up. Wow. Okay. Good now. Thank God, because I have no idea how to use OBS Player. I turned this on an hour ago. So if one other person could let me know if the audio is okay, I will continue. Okay, we are still going, but it opened up a ton of, like 30 of you talking on repeating. Audio's okay now. That's strange. Audio is okay now. Okay. Me Too Times, Think First Media, Angelica, thank you for your patience there and letting me know. That's okay. I'm glad it's working now. So for Me Too Times, we're just going to do it as you are also figuring out the journey along the way. OBS does that. It is something I would not use. Maybe OBS needed to be muted. Yeah, maybe. Oh, you know what? I think OBS grabbed the system audio. Okay, I think that's what happened. But again, I do apologize. This is part of why I liked just using the YouTube interface, because it was supposed to be easier. But anyway, so what we'll do here, again, we will I'll come down here and I'll drop in Me Too Times niche. So helping people figure out their path. Now this is an oversimplification, but let's say I help Okay, there we go. Thank you for your patience. So I went ahead and expanded a little bit on their niche idea. So I help. I always like going back to, if you're not sure, like oh, it's not on this one. Sorry, it's not on this one. But if you're not sure what your niche or industry is, you can say, I help people achieve results without roadblock so they can, life benefit here. So we're talking about helping people figure out their path, since you're still figuring out your path. So that's a result that we can definitively help people make a decision based upon their situation. And you don't have to have had success to do the analysis and decision making for them and say, this is what I think you should do given your situation or given what I've learned, right? And so with that framing in your content and whatever your products are, and of course your first lead magnet is top 10, business ideas for 2025, and your next, video or post is 5 popular make money online ideas that actually fail, something like that, right? So, and so you're the researcher, right? You're the researcher, you're doing all this research, and you do not need to have the success to just share your findings and share your data, right? And so we're going to cut through the noise of what to do and point them in the direction of what actually works. And then I'm letting GPT know my brand is a follow me as I'm working on it myself and sharing my lessons along the way. And so we'll come down here and we'll see what possible results it's come up with. So first, consistent wins, launching a small online product that actually made a sale or got client interest. So obviously this is one where, like, let's say you tried 3 different things. You could, thanks, Think First Media. So of course, if you, like, let's say you try 3 different things, 2 of them fail, one of them maybe gets 1 sale, right? That's a result. Think of how many thousands of people or millions of people want to start an online business, want to make money online. And the percentage of them that have even made just $10 is probably 99%, right? Let alone, 10,000. And so even though we're not talking about like, oh, look at me, 6 figures, blah, 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 right? And I like to say that I'm proof that you can grow a brand without like screaming about how much money you make. Like, it's totally possible. Especially because when you talk about your results and your story, all you need to do is say, in this particular situation, like, these are 3 products I tried. This was the first one that actually started to make income. That's it, right? There's your story. You don't have to, LOL, I made $81. Perfect. There's your story. You talk about the 3 or 5 things you tried, and this one actually finally made money. This one actually finally gave me a ray of hope. And I'm still working on it and still figuring out how to improve it. But at least I have validation that this works. And so that's it. There's that piece of the story. Because we don't have to have we are writing the book in real time, right? Like this isn't like Lord of the Rings where we have 12,000 pages and we got to know what happens at the end with, the Battle of the Orcs or whatever. I almost said five armies, but a nerd's going to call me out on that. So the point is, like, if you're just at chapter one, cool, talk about chapter one. Clarity path, no more chasing the next big thing. So in terms of let's see, tech confidence. So let's skip to tech confidence, right? Tech confidence is a pretty easy one because when you spend just when you spend just 6 hours in a software, you're going to know more than 50% of the people who are actually using that software. And so, as an example, when I first got started, I think this was 2019, I did a review on lead pages. I did a review on lead pages. I sat down for 8 hours. I essentially build landing pages in the software, and then I wrote down every single thing that drove me nuts. I wrote down every single thing I liked. And what was crazy is when you do that, like this is specifically for content, but when you do that, when you sit down and use the software as if you were going to use it for your business, then hello, knowledge and learning. That's a very long name, so I'm just going to say I'm not going to pronounce that right, but awesome. Welcome to the stream. If you have a niche that you want to get help with, go ahead and drop that in the comment section. And so after going through 8 hours, 8 hours of lead pages, I had like 9 or 10 different things that I thought were really good and things that I didn't think were good. And that gave me a good 5 or 6 different videos to create. And I was actually able to, and I know this because I was able to talk to one of them, I was able to find things that other people who were actively using the software didn't know about, right? And so even though that seems like a really small result, being able to point out the problems in different software solutions in your content and showcase that you actually used it. And again, you really only need 6 or 8 hours worth of software to find every single bug that nobody else talks about, right? Because most other people who are creating content, they just go to the features page and they read off the features page. It just drives me nuts, but it works really well. So that's one way you can differentiate yourself. And then when you combine software with whatever profit path that you're trying, that will just make the software review that much more valuable, right? So for Me Too Times, even though you only made $81, there's your story. That's where you start. And then for the rest of your experiences, number one, think about so for the rest of your experiences, number one is you made $81, so you can combine that with the other things that didn't work. Number two, you can write down your result. How long have you been working on this, and how many hours a week do you dedicate to this? So even if you don't have success yet, simply saying, I actually show up and do the work every single week, it speaks volumes, right? And then number three, the example I just gave with lead pages, is choose some softwares that you're going to create content around or that you're going to use in testing different profit paths, and really dig into them. Find all the things that are wrong. Find all the things that don't work. People like to know what doesn't work with software. Obviously, you can share what does work with software, but those three things are going to be tangible results you can use in your story. 2 years every day, that is amazing and awesome. And so if you just keep documenting the lessons you've learned, you can put those lessons in the results column because you're in the kind of researcher reporter mode as you go through, right? And so, and actually that's a great title, 2 years, 2 years. And if you make a list of like everything you've tried, so you could say 2 years, I've tried like 21 different things. Here's what I learned, right? So stuff like that. You have a very strong position as a reporter with your story. And then roadblocks. Obviously, you've probably overcome a lot of roadblocks when it comes to different types of different types of profit opportunities that really don't work very well, and shiny object syndrome, imposter syndrome. Definitely shiny object syndrome. You can talk about being think about all the times you got distracted with something, or this might hit home because every entrepreneur has had this times where you may have got scammed, right? You may have been like, oh, this pyramid looking model looks really really good. I'm not saying you did that specifically, but this pyramid model looks really really good, or this great protein shake has all these wonderful things in it. This company must be awesome. Then 6 months later you're like, oh no, that was not what I thought it was, right? And so those kinds of failures and the lessons learned out of those are definitely going to be a great part of your story as well. So let's see, Me Too Times helped bigger creators to gain my knowledge, then started to go out and do your own YouTube journey to gain more experience for yourself. So awesome. You can, if you've worked for other people and you've contributed to results, you can make another list of this is what I helped this creator achieve. Obviously, we need to be very careful with pretending like we did them, but there is power in saying I worked with this person and we grew their channel to 200K or something like that, right? So even if you were just part of a team or you worked someplace, that's also a great result to include on kind of your story or resume, if you will. I shouldn't say resume. This is not a resume. This is a story. So that's great to include in your story. Like as an agency owner, we would always say companies we worked with, right? We worked with this company. We worked with that company. And so I think that kind of does it for your possible results and roadblocks. I know we spent less time on yours than the Think First Media, but I think yours is really going to be focused on using that initial $81 success and then coming alongside other people and sharing everything that you're learning as you start your own journey. Let's see. Yes, I have larger number of testimonials, not like I have larger testimonials, not like 200K, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be. I meant subscribers, by the way. But however much revenue you help generate or subscribers you help someone achieve, that's definitely going to be something where you can pull from lessons learned. Even the other niches were helpful. Thanks. Awesome. Think First Media. So if anyone else has a niche that they'd like to go through, I think Angelica, if you want to share one, and then just tuning in, I'm world of knowledge and learning purposely. If you guys sometimes wonder like why doesn't he ever say his name, because I just don't want to be embarrassed like not being able to pronounce it correctly. It's not like a Google Meet like in our private community where I can bring you on and be like, okay, first things first, how do you pronounce your name? So there's no like recording of me saying it completely wrong, right? And then I'm going to ask you next time because my memory is terrible. But I do hope that this helps in terms of seeing how you can use your personal story to make content that much better. I'm going to do one more example, even though we've gone so long. So if I go to, and so if you have any other questions, do let me know. Again, these are the two. Justin Welsh's course, I'll link below if you want to learn more about how to grow on LinkedIn. And our own content system is on sale for the next couple of days, 50% off. If you want to learn more, you can click that link in the eventual link in the pinned comment. And then, of course, you'll be able to watch this quick demo video there. And so what I want to do is show you how you can kind of learn from other people. And I'm a little hesitant to do it I'm going to do it with Neil. I don't feel as bad because he's a really big business owner, but AI or humans. Let's see. Actually, does he have a text post? He does not have a text post for me to use. Okay, so let's go over to linked. I just realized that my search history is now public on YouTube. There we go. My last 11 days, small business with 20K. Well, that's awesome, right? So here's what you can do. So you can take a post that you like. This is completely random. I'm not condoning stealing other people's stuff. So you can take a post you like, and I'm in my chat with my story, and I could say I like this post concept. Adapt it for my personal story and writing style. You'd be like, Jason, why would I buy your stuff if I could just do this? I don't know. This is why I'm not a great marketer sometimes. So we've taken a LinkedIn post that we liked, and because AI knows knows my story, I could go ahead and adjust it to whatever mine is. So as an example here, I think on his post, he was just listing out all the things he uses for his. I do not recommend this software at all anymore. I am so very disappointed in them. They worked well for years, but there's been enough problems I've had with them where I'm just like, I am moving all my stuff away now. But anyway, so in the last 14 days, my little laptop business pulled in. Okay, I could go look at my revenue. It's not 20K, I'll tell you that. I'm not an agency anymore. Let's me also give stuff away for free. Yeah. Yeah, there is such thing as giving too much away for free. So no co-founder, no team, just me, repeatable system, and the right tools. Here are tens. It still thinks I lived in South Korea. I was only there for 3 months, man. But okay. And the Philippines or my kitchen table. Of course, I'll adjust this. Let me make sure. Okay. I do want to make sure that I'm not copying. I'm not copying anything super specific from his. Just kind of the framework. But you see here. Here are 10 tools. Go high level. Google Docs. I don't use Zoom. I don't use Trello. I do use Canva. And that's it. So I would actually have 3. I would have Go High Level, Google Docs, and Canva. That's literally all you need to run your business. That's it. I mean, especially because something that's really cool now is we're starting to use Go High Level to schedule all of my LinkedIn content as well. So you can see here, if I just, view, you can preview it, see how it works. My wife is working on the graphics. I don't have the creativity to make these. And of course, tomorrow we'll go through actually writing LinkedIn posts. But you can see here that eventually what is also really cool about LinkedIn post is instead of going LinkedIn first, these are actually adapted from my email. So if you're on my email list and you happen to see a LinkedIn post, it's pretty much the same content. We just kind of adjust it, and then there's like a 3 or 4 week gap between the email and the LinkedIn post, which is awesome because you can really focus on making a great email, which is where you want to focus eventually, and then it easily translates to LinkedIn content. And this could actually be an email as well. Obviously, you'd need more expansion. But I can just go ahead and make a list. I use Go High Level, Google Docs, and Canva. And I'd add ChatGPT to the list. And then I could do like a total. See, I only spend, that would be like 150 a month or something. Something stupid small, something stupid cheap. That's why sometimes when people are like, I don't want to pay for XYZ software, I'm like, dude, you can run a 6-figure business with $200 a month in software. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, hopefully that shows you like how easy it is, because you can just start scrolling through your LinkedIn feeds and find good posts. What's a good post? What is this? I don't know. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm not even going to read it. So I'm just going to take this, copy. I'm going to get in so much trouble. This is why we do it in like hour whatever, because you guys will actually get value in this and not misuse it. Please rewrite the concept in my story. I should have said in the context of my story, but in your voice, here's your rewritten version in your voice tied to your own story context. And now we have a post. Of course, I would go through this. I would change this out. That's not true. Maybe 2K. Vingo Knowledge, hello. Awesome for you to join us. We're just wrapping up here with our how to quickly create LinkedIn posts. So Me Too Times, always give stuff away for free. I think First Media, even other niches are helpful. I'm glad that was helpful. And then Me Too Times uses Canva, Notion, and GPT. My wife uses Notion. I am a Google Sheets guy. So she tried to convert me to Notion. And sorry, Notion tables just have nothing on Google Sheets. But I get it. Most people don't like spreadsheets, but they like Notion. But so neither here nor there. We could we could do a live debate like the back and forth between Notion versus since everyone's so very passionate about it. It's really cool. But I think I should go ahead and wrap up there. Need to promote LinkedIn. I only use for jobs and haven't went back. Was trying to learn the platform before diving into everything. Yeah. So if we let me do this as we end the stream here. Go ahead and it's crazy that I can't drop a comment. It's crazy that I can't comment here. So like Android versus iPhone. Yeah. Jamie asking, hi Jason, upgraded to go high level. I didn't get the bonuses. Can I get your referral code? Interesting. So go ahead and drop in the actual comment section that you didn't get the bonuses. And I'll go ahead and see why you didn't. Obviously, don't share your email here. But if you're on my email list, just go ahead and hit reply to the latest email I sent out. I sent one out this morning, and you can let me know that you can let me know that it was not it did not come through. So let me go ahead and do this. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. If you have any last minute questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for joining. I am just going to drop a comment down here, your channel. I think this is probably going to mess things up a little bit, but okay, forget it. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move this. Oh, sorry. And if you're wondering, Jason's laptop's going to die again because it took so long to start. But anyway, so hopefully that was helpful in terms of, coming up with the elements of your brand story. Again, shameless plug for Go High Level and all the bonuses linked up below. Bro, Jamie, I'm not sure. I did check this morning, so I did not see you in our system. So if you click the link at the top of the description, there will be a page that goes through all of the bonuses. And then the third link, I know you don't do this in marketing, but the third link has my referral code. So if you happen to not sign up through us, that would be the only reason you didn't get it. But I can go ahead and look inside our dashboard. If you signed up with your name, I'll be able to see it. But anyway, so I want to just wrap up saying a huge thank you to Think First Media for engaging, Me Too Times, Elevate Me Too engaging. Awesome to see you here again, Angelica. If you ever have questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comments. Always happy to reply. And thank you so much to everyone who did tune in, and even if you didn't ask questions. And World of Knowledge and Learning, awesome to have you on board. And then Bro, Jamie. So I'll go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow we are just 100% in on LinkedIn content. So do come with at least know what your niche is, and we can go through lots of different examples. And as you saw, it's very easy to start taking your story and combine it with the proven post frameworks. So terrible final marketing call to action. Check out our 30-day free trial bonuses to Go High Level. They are sponsoring this entire series, so thank you to them. Even if we're not actually like in Go High Level, they just wanted to make sure that everyone had everything they needed to be successful. And then also our Smart Content Kit is on sale through Thursday, 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can go ahead and check that out as well. So until tomorrow, keep building the business you love.